Upland structures have more stuff coming down the pipe for them pretty much constantly. It feels like we're always having new stuff under development coming out and being announced for us, which is awesome. And we've heard about all kinds of new things like, structure designs and new structure designs that people can submit their votes for, and structure decorations, and having multiple structures on specific areas, even trees and flora later on. There are so many exciting things to look forward to, so let's get building. Hey there, John Henry here, ssftg. Welcome to the video. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome, my friend. I hope to earn your like and subscription today. If you aren't in Upland yet, it's going to be fairly tough to follow along with me on this one. Make sure to swing over to discover.upland.me/ssftg. Gotta love that. To get your 6,000 starting UPIX, 1,500 more UPIX than other links, and you get a monster 50% UPIX bonus on your first purchase with a cap of 50,000 UPIX. If you need more info, you can also swing over to ssftg.com/upland as well. Sign up today so you can come hang out with us and the rest of the crew in the metaverse. So yesterday we went over the process of how I like to rent Spark from other users, and we can utilize UPIX to pay for that, and we went through the building process. In fact, if we go through, let's double check real quick. Hang on a second here. Jump over and see how far that is along our Venice Beach property. Remember, we got that listed yesterday, and if we look at it today, let's see what we've got. Yep, it's only got a little while to go here. 1 day and 2 hours left. Not bad from the 200 and whatever it was. And you'll notice the ones that actually jumped on, because of the pricing, we actually attracted some fairly large Spark builders in there too. Filled up pretty quick. That's what happens when you pay a fair value. So now what we want to do, since we've got that all settled, is we want to move on to the next phase of this. So a while ago, I did a video on the business model for builders, or the builder business model video. I'll link that in the top. I got it right. I'll link that in the top corner for you so you can watch that if you missed it. But effectively, what I'm going through and tracking now are all of the pricing in the Spark valuations and everything else. We talked about where in the weekend review, we're covering a lot of this information, where we're breaking down the Spark values, what buildings make more sense to build, etc. So kind of expanding on this as a mentality, with the information that we gathered over this past week, it shows that the best ROI, technically speaking, when we look at it, let me pull it up real quick so you can see what I'm talking about here. Here is the spreadsheet for all of the different building side of things. And when we look at this, what we can see is that effectively the small townhouse with a flat roof, this guy right here, is going to be the one that is effectively paying the most to build. Right now it's 36.39 UPIX per hour. So if we were to utilize that 36.39 UPIX per hour, we can effectively kind of break down a lot of really interesting math with this. Now, I'm going to use a speculation play on this here because looking at the small ranch house, right? This is what really kind of throws me off a little bit, because if we're looking at the floor pricing on the small townhouses, pitched roof and flat roof, are between 31,000 and 34,000, basically 35,000, then we look at the small ranch house, which is 1,100 Spark hours, which is roughly like 13.6% longer to build, but the value is 35,000. It's basically the same. That doesn't line up. So because of that, we can utilize that information to make kind of a speculative play and say that although the most profitable one right now is a small townhouse with a flat roof, it might be more beneficial to focus on a small ranch house with upcoming pricing likely going up. If we're looking at a comparable difference between the two valuations, being that it's about 13.6%, the low end to the upper end comparative to the flat roof and pitched roof small townhouses, that should put pricing on the small ranch home at around, on the low end, 35,784 up to around 40,000 on the high end. So given this, it makes more sense for me to focus my efforts on building a ranch house at the moment. So one of the areas that I wanted to build up was over in Oakland in the Sheffield area, this teeny tiny little spot in here. I picked up 3 different ones inside of here that I want to build up because I think these are really cool looking properties. Of course, they're not populating on the map. There we go. So we've got 3 different ones in here that I want to build up with ranch houses if they'll fit, and that's going to be the big question. First off, what we have to do is go in and go click more and go to build. And from the building menu, this is going to tell you everything that you can build, how much it's going to cost, how many people, expected living units, whatever that means for now. I'm looking at the ranch house at the moment, so we'll select the ranch house. And this will allow us to place it on the screen. So we can move this wherever we want it to go. We can zoom in and out. We can adjust the camera, etc. So I want to try to fit this back in the corner here. I don't want it sideways like that. Can I tuck it in here like this? Just in there. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do here, let's move this further forward. How far can I get it to go forward? I want a backyard. There we go. Can I get it any further than this? How about if I parallel? Ooh, I can squeak it. Come on. Right. Ooh, I saw it turn green. Right there. Okay, we're getting there. I'm trying to squeeze this in here as best I can. So looking at this would give me a relatively large front yard and a relatively cut off backyard. So this is one that I can kind of consider like, okay, is this the route that I want to go in terms of the overall locationing? And honestly, given the spot and the fact that we had the park that's a little bit further up here, this is kind of a nice area. And one thing that I like doing, let me back out of the editor real quick, is mimicking the real life structure. So if we go to the street view and see what this looks like, you'll notice this one's actually really up close to the front. So they have a very large backyard. It doesn't really fit what's going on. It doesn't really fit the vibe of this one, so I might have to adjust that. This one, however, on the corner, I might be able to fit a little bit better. So if we go into the street view, we can see that they've sunk it in a little bit further back, but predominantly it's in the backyard. So let's go building into this one. We'll do a ranch house and see if we can fit this in here. Let's swing the camera over here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So we'll get this to fit inside here all nice and pretty like. There we go. And then we'll have a nice big old backyard on that bad mamma jamma. What side of the road do I want this? It looks, I can get it closer to the front if we park it here. There we go. Whoop. That's going to be the one that we want to go with. So once we find a good location that we're satisfied with, then we can click the check mark and we can start going into the actual building process where you choose all the colors and everything else. So as far as the colors are concerned, we saw that the house that we were looking at actually kind of had like a yellowish look to it. I don't know that that one looks almost identical. Definitely not red. I guess this one's a little bit more yellow, so we'll go with that. I believe it had a little bit of a darker, I like the look of the darker roof, I gotta be honest, but what about, what other colors do we have here? Ooh, that's a fun one. Let's see. All right, let's go a little bit in the middle ground, darker. Yeah, I like the darker. I do like the way that looks. And then the bottom portion of things, honestly, the white on the bottom kind of looks nice. And I don't think the other ones are really going to do much. I don't like the look of that. That looks gross. How about wood? No, I don't like the look of that either. I think the white is just going to be what fits best. So then we check our colors, we look at it and we say, yep, that's the one that I want. We push the check mark, and it's going to tell us that with the spark that I have available, and I reallocated some other elsewhere, so I've only got the 0.1 spark at the moment, this is going to take 458 days. And again, this breaks it all down right there for you. So you have 0.1 spark available, and we can readjust that in a minute. So we'll go into start construction, we'll push the check mark, and that will start our building and get everything rocking and rolling over here. So now that we've got the building and construction started, it's going to take a second for everything to fire up, but then we can go in and we can hire builders, we can rent out our spark, we can put all of our spark on this one if we want to. This is where we can really start to have some fun with the builders group side of things. All right, so I unallocated my spark off the other building, and really all we have to do is reallocate it back on and we're good. And that's all there really is to building in Upland. It's super easy. You choose a location, you choose your style, and everything else is actually pretty fast. It's straightforward. Now it's just a matter of waiting for X amount of days that it's going to take to build the structure. Once it's built up, then we can list it for sale. In this case, at 1.16 spark, it's going to take me 39 days and 12 hours, significantly better than the almost 500 days from before. Now, the current price that I want to list these at, based on the pricing we were talking about before, is $39,500. And with that 1.16 spark that I'm putting into it in a small ranch house taking about 39 days to finish, if we factor 39 days at 39,500 UPIX, assuming everything sells, that puts our yearly ROI on Spark at 337,725, and that's removing 5% for the selling fees. So at one Spark costing $460, if we scale that up to 1.16, we're looking at around 63.29% ROI on a Spark investment per year. right? So even if we had a higher spark cost of the $600 rather than the cheaper one if you buy it all at once, if you were just buying it in 0.1 increments, it's $30. Well, 10 of those is $600. You get what I mean. Sorry. So you get to the $600 mark for the overall total, just rounding up to make it easier. And at that rate, that would still be over a 50% ROI, even at $600 without using any specific math. So that means that in 2 years, the Spark that we purchased will not only pay for itself, but will turn a profit of anywhere from 12 to 26% after year 2. Crazy, awesome stuff right there. So hopefully this guide shows you not only how easy it is to build an Upland, but also the value in the ROI that you can achieve with the Spark that is able to be purchased. It's absolutely incredible, and it's something that I invest in every single time it shows up for sale, and this is why the ROI is too good to not like. If you have any questions, topics that you'd like to see covered in a new video, epic Street View submissions, or anything in between, drop them in the comments below. You know I always love hearing from you all. Until the next one, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all then. Thanks.